The rock and roll saga of Ozzy Osbourne, a tapestry woven with threads of triumph, torment, and unyielding resilience, reaches a haunting crescendo in his posthumous memoir, Last Rites. Penned in the twilight of his battles with illness, the tome lays bare the Prince of Darkness's soul, confronting the abyss of his addictions with an unflinching gaze. Among its most gut-wrenching revelations is a revisited chapter from 1989, the night he, in a vortex of booze and substances, attempted to strangle his wife, Sharon, an act that shattered their world and nearly ended his legacy forever. Through these pages, Ozzy doesn't just recount the horror. He excavates the humanity beneath, offering a mea culpa that transcends apology into profound gratitude. The incident, long a whispered footnote in rock lore, unfolds in visceral detail. Ozzy paints a portrait of domestic discord amplified by his spiraling dependencies, a marriage strained by the ceaseless grind of touring, where hotel rooms blurred into haze-filled voids. It was too much. I'd gone too far. I was out of control, he confesses, the words stark against the memoir's confessional tone. Arguments, once petty flare-ups over missed family milestones or unchecked indulgences, escalated into tempests fueled by whatever cocktail of narcotics dulled the edges of fame's blade. Sharon, the steel-willed manager who'd shepherded Black Sabbath from garage jams to global domination, became both anchor and casualty in this storm. The pivotal evening arrives like a thunderclap, a banal quarrel metastasizing into violence, Ozzy's hands around her throat in a blackout blur. He awoke not in their bed, but in the cold sterility of a jail cell, head pounding with the worst hangover of my life. The charge, attempted murder, landed like a guillotine, stripping away illusions of invincibility. Maybe I really am insane, he ruminates, echoing the self-doubt that had dogged him since Sabbath's occult-tinged inception. The bat-biting madman, the reality TV patriarch, these were personas. This was the man unmasked, confronting the monster within. Rehab followed, a 6-month odyssey of withdrawal and reckoning in a facility that stripped him to essentials. Isolation was Sharon's first response. 5 months of radio silence, a void that mirrored the emotional chasm he'd carved. Her eventual decision to drop charges wasn't mercy born of weakness, but faith in redemption. She said she didn't believe the sober-world version of me was capable of murder. Ozzy writes, his prose raw with reverence. The dedication, Sharon, I'm sorry. And thank you for giving me another chance when almost anyone else would have walked away, pulses with the weight of survival, a vow etched in ink and blood. Last Rites, released in the quiet aftermath of Ozzy's passing at 76, frames this episode not as isolated aberration but emblematic of his odyssey. From Birmingham's industrial grit, where heavy metal was born in the din of factories, to the excesses of 70s stardom, his life was a symphony of highs and nadirs. Drugs, initially a crutch for stage fright, morphed into chains. Cocaine binges that blurred gigs into grotesqueries, heroin hazes that alienated bandmates. Sharon's role, from groupie to guardian, was pivotal. Her orchestration of interventions and empires kept the Osbourne name afloat amid tabloid tempests. The memoir interweaves this darkness with flickers of light. The unshakable bond with Sharon, forged in 1982's elopement and tempered by shared parenting of Amy, Kelly, and Jack. Their reality show, a fly-on-the-wall chronicle of chaos, humanized the myth, turning dysfunction into dynasty. Yet, Ozzy's reflections reveal the toll. Nights of paranoia where shadows whispered accusations, mornings of regret where mirrors mocked. Touring was my drug, he admits, the roar of crowds drowning the silence at home. The 1989 nadir forced confrontation, birthing sobriety stints that, though imperfect, preserved a family. As health woes mounted, Parkinson's diagnosis, spinal surgeries, the phantom pains of a body battered by decades of debauchery, Ozzy's determination to perform one last time burns bright. Last Rites chronicles these battles with gallows humor, the cane-wielding icon headlining farewell tours, voice gravelly but spirit unbroken. I've outlived the odds, he muses, tallying near misses from overdoses to onstage antics. Sharon remains the constant, her forgiveness a lifeline in the narrative's emotional core. This reckoning resonates beyond personal catharsis, illuminating addiction's grip on creativity. Sabbath's sound, droning riffs evoking urban despair, was Ozzy's exorcism, channeling inner demons into anthems that defined a generation. Post-rehab, his solo arc, from Blizzard of Oz's bombast to symphonic reinventions, mirrors recovery's arc, raw edges honed into wisdom. The attempted murder, in retrospect, was a pivot underscoring Sharon's thesis. The sober world, Ozzy, flawed yet fervent, deserved grace. In closing, Last Rites isn't elegy but exhortation, a rocker's roadmap through ruin to renewal. Ozzy's voice, even in print, carries that trademark rasp, part growl, part plea. For Sharon, it's eternal thanks, for readers, a mirror to their shadows. In the Prince of Darkness's final words, light pierces the void, affirming that second chances, hard won, are the truest heavy metal.